Welcome back. Another episode of Courtside with Justin Jennings, presented by Walker Brothers Chevrolet, serving northwestern Pennsylvania for more than 100 years. Happy New Year to you guys. Happy New Year, Coach.
And you.
Good way to start the new year, a 89-77 win over Clarion. And there's a lot of layers to this onion. You and I talked about in the women's game on Saturday, closer to playing 40 minutes. That was probably the closest to 40 minutes, maybe give or take 36 and a half minutes. Had a bit of a mental letdown there for a stretch late. But I think the win in that, when you guys have been struggling to stack blocks and doing all the right things, I thought to build the big lead, sort of give it away in short order, and then regather the troops, and then go back and extend that lead. And there's a lot of individual performances, but I thought from a team perspective, when that lead got cut to 4, that you were able to rally the troops and then get back to business. I thought that was the best stretch of basketball for morale, for belief, for all of the things that aren't statistically tracked. I thought that was a great spot in your season.
Yeah, you could certainly see it in the huddles, too. Our team didn't waver. We had some strong voices in the huddles of guys just kind of talking like, we're good. We're good. Just keep fighting, keep chipping away at it, and we'd be fine. You know, we got off to such a great start, shooting 63% in the first half and kind of growing that lead. And then, Clarion's going to come back. They're a talented bunch. I just thought we let them, we let a few shooters get open in transition. We kind of lost our mind a little bit defensively, and then if we foul another shooter, a jump shooter, I might lose my mind. So, but you take that away. All in all, I thought it was a pretty good performance and as good as we've had.
Now, it was interesting because Hardtongue and I were talking about this a bit on the broadcast. Obviously, it's not like an NBA game, but they've got dudes too. Like, what's that like for you? I mean, I assume that when you got up 17, you didn't think I would just win by 40, it would just be a walk in the park. But like, what's that in the mindset? You're like, well, you knew they had a run somewhere. Yeah. Yep. Sort of walk us through what that's like from your perspective.
Yeah, you know they're going to make a punch, and it's how can you counter that, and you just fall apart, and you kind of hit it before. I just thought we had a veteran approach to it. We've kind of been through so much this year and seen so many different things. I just thought, when they started making that run, our guys didn't waver. They stuck together, and they knew, hey, all right, now it's time to kind of turn it back up. I know they got it close, but hey, let's get a great offensive possession here. Let's make it a little bit tough. And once we started paying attention to detail and not letting shooters get wide open, I thought we kind of were able to blow it back open.
Now, obviously, the one thing that you've struggled with, and that is sharing and scoring. I thought you turned the corner. Yeah. There was a lot of ball movement, a lot of guys getting involved. JJ, Jack Gallagher, Say was awesome. Ladovich coming off the bench. Yep. The ball moved. Yep. The ball moved. I felt like when he hit that drought, the ball stalled out. It got sticky. What changes that makes the ball move and everything looks free-flowing to it not?
Yeah, I mean, having 5 guys in double figures, I think that's huge, and that's kind of what Borough basketball, the type of basketball we want to play. Sharing the ball, getting the ball through hands, and just making the right play. And that's how we kind of got up by so much early. I thought we were just taking what Clarion gave to us. We didn't force it and whatever. And then once they started scoring, maybe we got a little bit tight offensively. We tried to stop it all on one possession rather than just kind of keep playing, keep kind of flowing through our stuff. But once we do that, like once we just read what the defense gives us, I think the sky's the limit for our offense. Talk about having a great game without Bernie Blunt having one of his games. I mean, there's been times where we've had to lean on him as much as possible. We just had so many other guys step up. Jack Gallagher going 18, 6, and 5 with just 1 turnover. Ryan Ladovich coming off the bench hitting 3 huge threes and give us that punch. And you can't – he had the 11 points and the 3 threes, but talk about all the toughness plays, the deflections, and everything that he makes, that he brings to the table. All in all, I thought it was just a great team performance on both ends of the floor.
Now, obviously, we would be remiss if we did not address Matty Orsay. Now, if you could sort of clear obviously, he's from Senegal. Didn't grow up playing basketball necessarily like we did. How much basketball has he actually played? And I'm not going to lie, maybe this is an exaggeration, but I'm not certain he's made any improvement as big as he has, or what feels like he's made in the last month and a half.
Yeah, and a lot of it's just kind of being in our system and kind of being with us for a long period of time. Where he was in August when he showed up to where he is now is night and day, and it's really just started to click and kind of exemplify. We knew he always had a nice touch around the basket, but now he's having so much more patience, and I think the biggest thing is confidence. There's a confidence level in himself that he can score around the basket. There's a confidence level from his teammates that he's getting, that he sees that's giving him that level of, hey, I can go get this bucket anytime. He's scoring over both shoulders. He's doing a lot of good things. I'm still going to get him the flush one for you. I know you want to catch it in a dunk there, okay? But I'll take the 80% around the rim right now that he's been shooting the last 3 games. That's very exciting in the future.
And now the other thing is that, again, I watch basketball differently than most, but the thing that I thought that was the biggest difference, in particular against Clarion, but in this transition, and I believe you've said it on this show, we just need our 7-footer to play like a 7-footer. Mm-hmm. He's sliding. He's not reaching. He's being, the principle of verticality.
Yep.
He's starting to do the things that a 7-footer needs. Not all 7-footers are going to block every shot, but they sure can alter a bunch. And I feel like in this short window, he's really starting to figure out how to be 7-foot in defense.
Yeah, he's playing intelligent basketball on the defensive end, and he's really learning how to have control of his body and use his body in the right way. Sometimes early in the year, it's like, I got to come over and make this block. When if you just come over and stand there and be big and be 7-foot, that causes problems. And it's that second effort now, too. It's hey, come over here and be big and be 7-foot, and then go make that effort play to get the rebound. And I think, he's made a huge jump, and I think there's another huge jump there that we'll see here as the season goes.
That big swat is going to be on Sports Center, but if he misses, it's going to be a foul. So and when you get that big, I just feel like he's starting to figure out how to play basketball. And I think offensively, I don't think it's coincidence that he played so well and everybody got involved because you get harder to guard. We talk about when Easton Fulmer makes shots from distance, where JJ makes shots, things get easier.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
No different than when the big fella's getting touches and shooting at 80%.
Yeah, when you got somebody inside that can finish like that, it opens up everything on the perimeter. And then now when things are going hand in hand, you got guys making shots in the perimeter and a guy inside, you can put up 89 points. You can shoot 64% in the first half. And that's what we want to be. We want to be balanced, and we've been pushing for it, and our guys are really starting to turn the corner on that.
Now, Jack Gallagher has been playing really well. I feel, that was the best game that I've ever seen him play. I think maybe I saw him play a better game in high school, but you mentioned 18, 6, and 5, in control, making the right decision. JJ's starting to really look, and it's really starting to feel like he's going to be a guy that you can count on night in and night out to score. I know you're not in the middle, the business of moral victories.
No, I'm not.
But this trend started with the second half effort. You're down 57-41 to Stroudsburg, and you come back and take the lead. What changed in the locker room? What was different from that point to now? Because I feel that it's more basketball, and I feel that I don't want to say team oriented, but it feels as if that people are willing to lean, and people are willing to share, willing to help. And I think as a byproduct, it becomes a lot easier for everybody.
No doubt. And it's just stacking their next right decision, and then just continually do that. Is this the right decision to go one more, to get the ball through hands, to make the next pass, to fill up when you're supposed to fill up, to dive hard when you're supposed to dive hard, even though you didn't get the ball. Like all those things in the pulley system that we kind of operate on are just unselfish movements within the flow of our offense. And once we trust it, that, hey, if I do this, eventually it's going to come back to me. That's just basketball justice, right? Yeah. If guys are doing those things, and we talk about, the hard dive to the basket, bringing 2 guys, that's like an assist. Like we track those, and we're just starting to really buy into that. And I think that's why our offense is starting to take off.
Now, you always talk about playing with pace and playing with space. And for those, and I'd like you to, I understand it because we've talked about it, but, basically you want your offense that every movement is sold as, we're not running, we don't want George Pickens out there taking a play off, right? Every move has to be, and that's the pace that you're talking about, because you need to make a cut that's taking that defender with him, right?
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes when we say we want to play with pace, it gets misconstrued like, hey, bring it down and jack something up in 7 seconds. Like, that's not what we want to do. If we get something early, we want to take it. But those cuts, those hard cuts within the flow of our offense, the run at screens we run out, two guys coming out and making a confrontation with each other, those things are playing with pace. The hard dives after a ball screen, getting out of the ball screen and bringing two guys with you because you break the charge circle and wear the rim as a hat. All those little details are playing with pace. And I think it's starting to click with our guys. We're starting to get those. I think there was spurts throughout the year where we were playing with pace. I just think we're getting more consistency with our pace here, it's particularly in the half court, and it's been evident in the scoring.
All right, Courtside with Justin Jennings, presented by Walker Brothers Chevrolet, serving northwestern Pennsylvania for more than 100 years. Quick timeout. We turn the page, look ahead to another tough week here in the PSAC West. More with Courtside, presented by Walker Brothers Chevrolet.
Factory-trained service, a full-service body shop that accepts all insurance, and honest, no-nonsense deals on all new Chevrolets and used cars. Come in and see for yourself why we've been here for over 100 years. Call, click, or stop out. Walker Brothers Chevrolet.
Bring together expert faculty. Offer programs in high-demand fields. Add in a few centuries of tradition. You might call it the future of higher education. We're calling it Pennsylvania Western University. We've combined the resources of California, Clarion, and Edinburgh to create a new way to educate, where opportunities are boundless and tomorrow is yours to define. Built on tradition, built for your future. Welcome to Penn West.
Welcome back, Courtside with Justin Jennings, presented by Walker Brothers Chevrolet, serving northwestern Pennsylvania for more than 100 years. Now, Jordan Fee, Gannon, they're doing all kinds of things. Let me give you guys a brief history lesson. Jordan Fee is a disciple of Jim Crutchfield, who has done this thing at West Liberty, Nova Southeastern. Now Jordan's having success with it at Gannon. Score a ton of points, shoot a lot of threes. I mean, you want to talk about the analytics. They were ahead of their time, decades ago. It first started at West Lib, where they were just shooting at a clip that people weren't comfortable with.
Right.
Now, the element of this, which I find, and I can't wait to get your response, they play a style, even as good as Ofajobo has been, if you stop him, I don't want to say no big deal, but it might be another 8 guys to pick from. How hard is it to watch that like when you played the Lakers or the Bulls, just stop Jordan, we'll be all right. Well, it's not even that. It's not that simple. Yep. This style is so chaotic. It's so up tempo. He makes hockey line changes. Crutchfield's done it for years. It works. It wins at the Division II level. But now that you've been forced to really, really study it, what can you tell us about this organized chaos that scores about 190 a game?
Yeah, you got to be ready to play all 40. And we talked to our guys about that today. They could be down 30, and it's still going to be a ball game because next thing you know, they're on you like that in 90 seconds. It's constant. It's getting up and down. You score a bucket, the minute you celebrate, they're right back down your throat there and knocking a 3 down. So you got to be consistent. We got to play with urgency, and I think that's the biggest thing we talk to our guys. We got to be urgent in our approach in everything we do, whether that's offensively, getting the ball out and getting to our spots, defensively, being urgent, getting out on shooters, and when a shot goes up, being urgent and getting that rebound. They do play it chaotic. They don't let up. They give up a bucket. They come right at you. So it's just constant. If you're not ready for it, it can get ugly quick.
Now, of course, the odd thing being, I'd like to, and I plan to ask this to Jordan, I wonder when the last time he's lost 2 out of 3 at any level. I mean, this is uncharacteristic. Now, Millersville, Cal. Obviously, Cal's a top 10 team in their own right. Obviously, you've watched the film. They still both scored 99 in the win. Generally speaking, though, 99 is not enough to win. Yep. It's got to be 112, 115 to win. They were held to 77 and 78. What was different in those 2 losses? I mean, they put 116 on East Stroudsburg. I mean, they beat 116-96 to beat East Stroudsburg. What did Cal and Millersville do to slow them down? You got to figure that would be the equivalent of you scoring 40 to be like 35, 40 points under your average.
Yeah.
What was so different by what Millersville and Calvary?
Well, I think a couple of veteran teams. I think that's huge. They got veteran guards and guys that have seen a lot of basketball. A couple of it was life on the road. Maybe they weren't getting some calls. I know Coach Fee would attest to that after watching some of those games. They didn't get maybe some of the calls that they've gotten in the past. So I think if you have a veteran team that can handle some of that pressure and make sure, hey, we got to get the best quality look every time down, that might be able to bother them a little bit. So, it's a new program there. He's got brand new players. He's trying to put his system in. So it's not going to be overnight. You got to tip your cap to him for how great of a start he's had with that group and been able to turn the page that quickly. So, there's still a talented group, and I think they're going to be a formidable in the PSAC West.
Anyway, I just don't know. To score at that rate. We can be as critical of their defense or lack thereof. They're still scoring 120 a night, and I don't care. If you win by 4, 120 to 116, or you win 69-65, you still won by 4 points. But the pace in which they play, how do you to prepare for that? How do you replicate that in the practice time?
You can't really replicate it exactly. You kind of got to make the best possible. The best thing for us was that we did play East Stroudsburg recently. So I think Gannon takes it up to another level, a little bit more intelligent with their press. Yes, shoots it better, and I think that's the big difference. Whereas East Stroudsburg might want to slow it down at times to kind of use their size and strength. Gannon's got a lot more speed and can shoot a lot better, so you can't make those mistakes in transition because they'll make you burn and play for it. But I think you can't replicate it in practice. The only thing you can do is, hey, if we score, don't take the ball out, right? And just get back, and we got to get back with urgency and find shooters early.
Yeah, 8 guys that are averaging 14 or more minutes a contest, just wild. Number 4 averages about a point a minute.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's unbelievable.
Yep. And he gets to the line. He gets one of the top 5 guys in the country getting to the line. He's very active, very talented guy. But you're talking averaging 40 points for 40 minutes. That's pretty impressive in his approach.
Now, the one thing that I did want to ask, because they shoot 77% from the line, which is a remarkable number for a team. And then as a team, they also shoot 39% from 3. So it's not a team, and they don't shoot 77% because they've only shot, 11 at free throw. They shoot for how would you define the way that they play? Because a lot of the West Liberty days, they were shooting like 53s a game. When you look at this Gannon team, it's not 50 because you don't shoot that many threes and get to the free throw line as frequently as they do. What's so different about Jordan Fee's version of what Crutchfield's done for decades?
Yeah, I think they have elite guard play, and they're really getting those early paint touches, and that's twofold. One, getting those early paint touches, does get you to the rim and puts a lot of pressure on the defense, but the other thing, it opens up the 3 a lot more too. So I think there's less catch and shoot from 3 and more drive and read and react and play off each other and more up-tempo from that standpoint. Certainly
going to be a tough ask. And let's be honest, we're talking about Gannon, but next Saturday, UPJ comes to town. This is the grind that is the West, my man. There's no nights off. And the thing is that the rarity of having 4 home games. You've got to get one of 2, right? You've got to continue to try to hold serve here, and this is a tough stretch.
It is. It most certainly is, especially getting 4 home games with no students in session. So we're trying to create our own energy in other ways. I think the crowds have been great for having no students, but we're excited about having a couple more home games before we got to get back on the road. And for a group that had no home games early in the year, it's nice to be home a little bit and sleep in our own beds.
Now, I did want to ask you, because you had some success in the East Stroudsburg game in this phonetic pace, how you really shortened your bench. That's not the way that they play. They're playing fresh 5. It's a hockey situation. Are you going to feel in the back of your mind that, player X, he's been out there, he's seen 4 straight shifts, and I've not given him a break. Will Gannon's tempo reflect and impact the way you're going to substitute solely based on of having fresh bodies out there? Because, you need guys out there to score, but you also need guys with legs to defend.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, certainly we're going to have to, expand some rules for guys to play more minutes. And, that may just not be because of their style of play. Well, I think as we're building this thing, guys need to play more minutes. And we've been getting consistent minutes from guys. We had a couple guys that didn't see time in the second half. Had great first halves for us. But they've stuck with it. You see the guys in the gym. We end practice. And then the next 30 minutes, our whole team's in there getting work in. So guys are pushing. Guys are doing some things. I think our bench rotation will expand a little bit, particularly as we get a lot of these games in a row and legs and things like that. You don't want to do it. The last couple games just kind of dictated, shorten your bench. You talk about the East Stroudsburg game. You have the funky broken of the rim, and it stops the clock. You reset it, reset the game time kind of, and that messed with our rotations a little bit. And then, Clarion, you get that big lead, and you're trying to hang on, and it kind of shrinks the bench a little bit. But I think as this thing continues to, we'll be playing consistently 10, and minutes will be a little bit more evenly dispersed.
The one thing that before we go here, and we talk about the pace and how important will it be, and I thought you said 16, 6, 5, and 1. Mm-hmm. That was the number one, Jack Gallagher, yep. 1 turnover. If you can get that Jack Gallagher and JJ starting to score, yep. and you're getting Ladovich and say, I feel like that he could be the great equalizer, and I feel that the verdict's out there. I mean, he was dared to shoot it from deep, and he did, and he knocked it down. Mm-hmm. And you talk pace and mm-hmm. space. Mm-hmm. If Jack's going to start knocking down some threes, mm-hmm. how much easier is that element going to make life for your offense?
Yeah, certainly the more shooters you have out there, the more space it creates. That's the two ways to create it, with how fast you go and shooting. That's how you create those spaces. But I'm super impressed, super excited for Jack Gallagher the other night and his approach to the game. He gives us this edge. And he really pushes the envelope for us, and for him to play that type of pace and that aggressiveness and only have the 1 turnover, and then that means he's really turning the table for us, and we're excited about how he's going to finish.
Hopefully you can join us at Macomb Fieldhouse Wednesday and Saturday, the Gannon Gold Knights and UPJ on the docket. Coach, I appreciate the time.
All the best. Thank you so much.
All right, another edition of Courtside with Justin Jennings, presented by Walker Brothers Chevrolet, serving northwestern Pennsylvania for more than 100 years. We'll talk to you next time.